This video contains a summary of a historical event called the Tondo Conspiracy, a written investigation that is written by the Marikina Notary Public. In the document that we have read, it seems to take place during the times of the Spanish colonial rule of the Philippines. The Tondo Conspiracy of 1587 to 1588 was actually a plot against Spanish colonial rule in the Philippines, led by the Datus of Manila and some towns of Bulacan and Pampanga. It was led by Agustin de Legazpi, nephew of Lacandula, and his cousin Martin Pangan. The uprising failed when a Cuyo native betrayed the Datus to the Spanish authorities. Back then, at the time when Don Martin Panga, one of the main conspirators, Agustin de Legazpi named Don Agustin de Legazpi, and other Dons, or simply Datus, were taken to prison and each swore to help each other with their difficulties and problems. After their release, they held a secret meeting alongside chiefs or datus of other villages and took an oath to aid any enemy that seeks to attack the Spaniards. Their motivation seems to be their desire to regain their freedom and authority that the old rulers had before their Spanish colonizers arrived. It was then, during 1857, Don Agustin de Legazpi, one of the leaders of the conspiracy plot, met up with a Japanese ship captain, a Don Juan Gallo, alongside several Japanese with merchandise, came to an agreement that the captain would bring along his soldiers from their land called Sapon, now known as Japan, and assist them in killing and conquering the Spaniards, and afterwards recognized Don Agustin de Legazpi as king of the land. In return, they would receive half the tribute from the Philippines. Apart from the Japanese, the conspirators also sought aid from the Kingdom of Brunei, the Bruneians, and La Laguna and Comitan. The Kingdom of Brunei, in particular, were thinking of a manning fleet for the purpose of attacking the Spaniards, and has been preparing galleys and warships for the attack. On 1855, Magat Salamat, one of the conspirators and son of one of the old lords of the land, alongside two other conspirators sought to meet up with the petty king of Brunei. On their way to Brunei, they stopped at the island of Cuyo Calamianes to meet with its chief or datu Sumaelob to join in the conspiracy. The chief or datu agreed and pledged to contribute 2,000 men to the effort. It was also during this time that Magat Salamat also sought to recruit another native of Cuyo, a Don Antonio Surabao. Surabao, who agreed and pledged secrecy and friendship to the conspirators, revealed the plans to a Captain Pedro Sarmiento, who then went to immediately apprehend Magat Salamat and the other conspirators, namely Don Agustin Manugit and Don Juan Banal, and informed the Governor-General of the Philippines at the time, Santiago de Vera, of the conspiracy plot against the Spaniards, and as a result, ordered the arrest of everyone involved in the conspiracy. Magat Salamat, after arrest, was sent to a trial where he eventually confessed to the conspiracy. From the said investigations and inquiries made from the trial, the Governor-General then gave order for the arrest of every conspirator. Every conspirator was arrested as each of their confessions were taken down separately as well. Agustin de Legazpi and Martin Pangan, as leaders of the conspiracy, were sentenced to be drawn and hanged, to which their heads would be cut off after and exposed on the gibbet in iron cages, possibly to made as a warning to any would-be conspirators against the Spanish colonizers. It was also decided that their properties were to be seized to account for the judicial costs and also to be contributed to the royal treasury. According to the text, De Legazpi and Pangan sought to appeal their sentences, but the audiencia returned their case to the Governor-General, and thus their fates were sealed. All the records which have been and are transacted in this presence have been and are thoroughly certified and authenticated, both within court and without, by the Esteban de Marikina, a group of people who notarized, signed, and certified the records. This notarized document can be found from pages 96 to 103 of the Philippine Islands 1493 to 1898, Volume 1, Number 7, 1588 to 1591 by Helen Blair et al. According to the article, the Philippine Revolt against the Spaniards, some revolts stemmed from land problems, and this was largely the cause of the insurrections that transpired in the agricultural provinces of Batangas, Bulacan, Cavite, and Laguna. Natives also rebelled over unjust taxation and forced labor. The significance of Tondo conspiracy states that the conspiracy against the Spaniards was brought about by the initiatives of the Spaniards to abolish slavery in hopes of shifting the slaves' allegiance from the datus to the kingly Spaniards. In the words of Austin Craig, the plot was proof that the early Filipinos were capable of united action, as this document is relevant as a way to prove that the historical event had indeed occurred, thus helping contribute to the overall narrative of Philippine history. It also helped us see how the Spaniards at the time see the events that had occurred. Though the document itself seems to be written in such a way that it seems unbiased and factual, the actions that had resulted from the conspiracy helped us see how the Spaniards seemed to justify the cruel punishments done to the conspirators, claiming it is an act of justice.